Mallorca, Spain. May 30th, 2026, 10:17 a.m. The morning sun cast a golden glow across the clay courts of the Rafa Nadal Academy. A gentle Mediterranean breeze drifted through the complex as photographers, producers, and members of the CR7 creative team made final preparations for a photo shoot unlike any they had ever organized. At the center of it all stood Alex Eala. Just days earlier, she had walked off the courts of Roland Garros in disappointment after another painful first-round defeat. Now, she was standing on Court 7, wearing the CR7 logo for the very first time. The transformation felt surreal. The photographers had arrived from Madrid before sunrise. Lighting rigs had been assembled. Creative directors reviewed shot lists. Marketing executives discussed campaign strategies. Everything had been planned down to the smallest detail. Yet the moment Alex stepped onto the court, many realized something unexpected. They didn't need elaborate staging. They didn't need dramatic props. They already had the story. Because Alex Eala wasn't standing there as a champion holding a trophy. She was standing there as something far more powerful. A symbol. The photographers immediately began shooting. Alex walked slowly toward the baseline, racket in hand. The white CR7 hoodie contrasted beautifully against the deep red clay. Her expression was calm, focused, thoughtful. Behind the academy gates, a small group of Filipino supporters had gathered. Nobody had invited them. No announcement had been made. Yet somehow they knew, just as they always seemed to know. Philippine flags fluttered in the breeze. Soft chants echoed from outside the fence. Laban Alex. Laban. The sound drifted across the court. Alex heard every word. For a brief moment, she closed her eyes. The memories came rushing back. The long training sessions. The early mornings. The losses. The victories, the sacrifices, the endless flights across continents, the fans who never stopped believing, the OFWs who traveled thousands of miles just to see her play for a few hours, the children who handed her letters, the families who treated her success as their own. This moment belonged to all of them. The lead photographer lowered his camera. "That's it," he said quietly. Everyone turned toward him. "What do you mean?" asked one of the producers. "That's the shot." He pointed toward Alex, standing alone on the baseline, flags waving in the distance, the CR7 logo visible on her chest, the red clay stretching behind her. No trophy, no celebration, no artificial pose, just belief. The cameras clicked continuously, frame after frame, history captured in fractions of a second. Hours later, Cristiano Ronaldo's media team selected the image. When the final campaign went live, the response was immediate. The photograph spread across social media platforms around the world. Millions shared it. Millions discussed it. Millions wanted to know the same thing. Why Alex Eala? Why would one of the most influential athletes in history choose a tennis player who had just suffered a first-round loss? Cristiano Ronaldo answered the question himself. His post carried a message that quickly became one of the most discussed captions in sports. The Eala effect isn't about winning. It's about fighting. And Alex Eala is one of the greatest fighters I've ever seen. Welcome to the CR7 family. The world is yours. Within hours, the internet erupted. Sports networks discussed the announcement. Tennis analysts debated its significance. Marketing experts examined the business implications. Fans celebrated. Critics questioned. Everyone had an opinion. But one thing was undeniable. Alex Eala had become the center of a global conversation. The campaign generated tens of millions of interactions within its first day. Hashtags surged worldwide. Videos flooded social media. Reaction channels dissected every detail. Even people who rarely followed tennis suddenly knew her name. Yet while the world debated the partnership, Alex sat quietly in her hotel room. Her phone vibrated endlessly. Messages poured in from every direction. Friends, former opponents, celebrities, athletes, fans. The notifications seemed endless. Still, there was only one message she wanted to hear. A knock sounded on her hotel door. "Come in," she said softly. Her mother entered. Alex held up her phone. Her eyes were already filling with tears. He posted it. Her mother smiled. "I know." He called me a champion. There was silence. Then her mother sat beside her. "Because you are one." Alex shook her head. "I lost." Her mother gently squeezed her hand. "You think champions are defined by scoreboards?" Alex looked down. "Then what defines them? The ability to keep going." The answer landed with unexpected weight. Because deep down, Alex understood exactly what she meant. Every athlete eventually loses. Every champion eventually falls. Every great story eventually faces adversity. What separates people isn't avoiding defeat. It's refusing to stay defeated. The room fell quiet. Outside, the Mediterranean sun continued its slow descent toward the horizon. Alex reached for the small pendant around her neck. A reminder of home. A reminder of where she came from. A reminder of the people who believed in her before the rankings, before the headlines, before the sponsorships. She whispered a single word. Laban.
Fight.
The word carried a meaning much larger than sport. It represented resilience,
Hope.
persistence,
Identity.
and perhaps that was what Cristiano Ronaldo had truly recognized. Not a tennis player, not a ranking, not a business opportunity, a fighter. As the French Open continued without her, new stars emerged, new headlines appeared, new champions advanced through the draw. Yet somehow, the conversation kept returning to Alex Eala, the player who had lost, the player who refused to disappear, the player whose influence seemed to grow even in defeat. Because sometimes the most powerful stories in sports are not about lifting trophies. Sometimes they are about standing back up after disappointment. Sometimes they are about inspiring people who may never step onto a professional court. Sometimes they are about reminding millions that success is not always measured by victories. Sometimes it is measured by impact. And whether people called it hype, momentum, inspiration, or simply belief, the Eala effect was becoming impossible to ignore. The question now was no longer whether Alex Eala could inspire a nation. She already had. The question was how far that inspiration could go. And as the sun disappeared beyond the Mediterranean horizon, one thing became increasingly clear. This story was only beginning. That's the one. The creative director lowered his headset and pointed toward the monitor. No one argued. No one suggested another angle. No one asked for another take. They all knew at the moment they saw it. Alex Eala stood alone at the baseline of Court 7. The red clay stretched endlessly behind her. The CR7 logo rested proudly on her chest. Philippine flags waved beyond the academy gates. The image was simple, powerful, authentic. And sometimes, authenticity is impossible to recreate. That evening, the photograph appeared on Cristiano Ronaldo's social media accounts. Within minutes, millions were sharing it. The caption was short, but its impact was enormous. The Eala effect isn't about winning. It's about fighting. And Alex Eala is one of the greatest fighters I've ever seen. Welcome to the CR7 family. The world is yours. Laban. The reaction was immediate. Fans flooded the comments. Sports networks picked up the story. Marketing analysts called it one of the most unexpected partnerships of the year. Within 24 hours, the post had generated tens of millions of interactions across social media. Hashtags surged around the world. CR7 Alex Eala. The Eala effect. Laban. Everywhere people were asking the same question. What if Cristiano Ronaldo saw something everyone else had missed? What if Alex Eala's story was never really about rankings? What if it was never about trophies? What if the reason people connected with her had nothing to do with wins and losses? The tennis world had spent days focusing on a first-round defeat. Now, it was being forced to consider something entirely different. Perhaps influence could not always be measured by scoreboards. Perhaps inspiration could not always be measured by rankings. Perhaps impact existed on an entirely different scale. And if that was true, Alex Eala had already won something far bigger than a tennis match. Mallorca, Spain. May 31st, 2026. 7:47 p.m. The sun was sinking toward the Mediterranean horizon. Golden light spilled across the courts of the Rafa Nadal Academy. The photo shoot was over. The interviews were complete. The contracts had been signed. The headlines had already begun spreading around the world. Yet for Alex, the moment felt strangely quiet. She sat alone on a bench overlooking Court 7. The CR7 hoodie rested on her shoulders. A small gold pendant hung around her neck. The breeze carried the familiar scent of clay and sea air. For the first time all day, she was alone with her thoughts. And that was when the weight of everything finally arrived. The attention, the expectations, the responsibility, the millions of people suddenly discussing her future. She thought about the journey that had brought her here. The early mornings, the exhausting training sessions, the defeats that nobody remembered, the sacrifices nobody saw. She thought about the words Ronaldo had spoken. "I've been counted out, written off, told I was finished, but I never stopped fighting." She thought about every person who had believed in her when success still felt far away. The overseas workers who saved money for months just to watch her play. The nurses, the caregivers, the engineers, the families carrying Philippine flags in cities thousands of miles from home. She remembered the young fans who waited after matches for autographs, the children who handed her drawings, the supporters who saw something of themselves in her journey. And suddenly the realization became impossible to ignore. The Eala effect was never really about Alex Eala. It was about everyone who believed alongside her, everyone who dreamed alongside her, everyone who refused to give up alongside her. Slowly, she pulled out her phone. She opened a blank post. Then she began to type. "To every Filipino who has ever felt invisible, I see you. To every OFW who has sacrificed for their family, I honor you. To every child who dreams of something bigger, I believe in you. The Eala effect is not about me. It's about us. And we're only getting started. Laban always." No photo. No sponsorship logos. No marketing campaign. Just words. Honest words. Words that traveled around the world within minutes. The response was overwhelming. Millions engaged with the post. Thousands shared their own stories. Parents showed it to their children. Workers read it during breaks. Students reposted it to their friends. The comments reflected something deeper than sports. "This is why we support her. She makes us feel seen. This is bigger than tennis." Representation matters. People weren't celebrating a ranking. They weren't celebrating a trophy. They were celebrating a connection. And perhaps that was the true power of the Eala effect. Not fame. Not popularity. Connection. As night settled over Mallorca, messages continued arriving from around the world. Athletes, artists,
Fans, friends,
supporters, each one offering encouragement, each one becoming part of a story that had grown far beyond a single tournament. Meanwhile, Roland Garros continued without her. New champions would be crowned. New trophies would be lifted. New headlines would dominate the news cycle. That is the nature of sports. The spotlight always moves forward. Yet somehow, one of the defining stories of the tournament remained the player who had exited in the first round. Because Alex Eala had accomplished something rare. She had transformed disappointment into inspiration. She had transformed defeat into momentum. She had transformed a tennis court into a platform capable of reaching millions. And perhaps years from now, when the next generation of Filipino athletes steps onto the global stage, they may not remember every score. They may not remember every ranking. They may not remember every tournament result. But they might remember the flags. They might remember the chants. They might remember the belief. And they might remember a young athlete who reminded them that success is not only about winning. Sometimes success is about inspiring others to keep fighting. Sometimes success is about showing people what is possible. Sometimes success is about becoming proof that dreams can travel farther than anyone ever imagined. And that may be the most important legacy of all. The story continues. The journey continues. And for Alex Eala, the next chapter is only beginning.